Right, all that's still to come. And now Jamie Cullum is in the kitchen with us, and we're doing something lovely, I think.
Yeah, you're
quite Halloween-y.
You're confused with this. Yeah, we're doing sweet potato donuts.
Yeah.
OK. So what we need, we've got a big load of sugar. Then we've got two types of potato: sweet potato and ordinary potato that we've boiled and mashed. OK. Then in here we've got some milk and some sugar and some dried yeast. We've sprinkled the yeast on, put the sugar in, warmed it, and it's sort of 15 minutes. See how it's kind of...
So yeast will work on potatoes, essentially?
Anything, yeah. It really will.
Okay.
Then we've got some olive oil, we've got eggs, we've got orange zest and orange juice, we've got the sugar and the yeast, which are already in there, and loads of flour. Now, we'll kind of whiz through this bit, just so you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing. So first job, young Mr. Cullum, is to pop both of those into there, and then add, crack the eggs into it. I will. In fact, Amanda, you will, in fact, zest the orange.
Okay. Straight into it.
Yeah. So basically what we do is all of these dried ingredients, minus the flour, just go in first of all. And normally donuts would just be made with kind of flour and stuff, but, you know, this is just a different way of doing it. The Italians use potato quite a lot in sweet dishes, and it's quite a nice thing to do. I mean, you've got a love of Italy and Italian food, so, you know, there's a fantastic cake that the Italians make with potato and ricotta, which is absolutely delicious. So do you cook lots?
I do. I like to cook. Yeah, definitely. This is This is not alien to me.
Although that's a little white lie, because over there you were telling me your gorgeous girl Sophie is an excellent cook and does most of it in the house.
She cooks on another level to me,
right.
but I know how to feed myself so I don't get hungry. But I've never done this before. This is new.
Then squeeze a bit of orange juice in, and then what we do next is give that a bit of a bash around, really. You can be quite tough with this. It doesn't really matter. What you're doing is combining it. So those are your starting ingredients, OK? Then, once you've mixed that together, then we add some flour into there. And what you do is you add this flour a little bit at a time. Now, we're doing this very quickly. What you need to do, really, is kind of combine those ingredients, then we add the flour a little at a time, because what you're trying to do is get it as smooth as you possibly can. Then, once you add a bit of flour, then we add a bit of olive oil. So you're building things up. You could, if you want, put all of this into a food processor, but it's nicer to do it this way.
Right, OK.
And as you're going to be a baker, Amanda, this is kind of quite good. So imagine that all goes in. Once you've combined that, then we add the milk, sugar and the yeast. That goes in. Mix, mix, mix until it's nice and smooth. OK, so let's imagine that that's happened, because it will take you... Once you get to that point, this is where the hard work starts, because you're trying to get it smooth and let it kind of settle.
So what, is that 15 minutes? Just
it's kind of working it until it's smooth, but as I say, just take your time with it. Then what we do, cover it, put it somewhere warm, and this is what we end up with. I mean, that's
it's
beautiful,
like a mousse.
Fantastic.
You should have done it perfectly, so you thought I was amazing at mixing.
Yeah, exactly. And also you managed to kind of prove it. You managed to move through time.
Yes, that's right.
Then the next job, Jamie, is to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the board.
Oh, on the board.
And then lift all of that out and just give it a quick bash. Because now what we do is what's called knocking back, which basically is what happens is the chemical reaction is that all of it's lovely. Isn't that a nice feeling? Yeah. You can really give it a good old slam down.
It's good old therapy, this, isn't it?
Oh,
bash,
it's
bash,
great.
bash.
And the feeling of dough is lovely.
Yeah, it's
Isn't
nice.
that a nice
feeling.
feeling?
I agree.
Brilliant. And that's what you do. Just a quick knockback like that. Just have a little bit more flour on your board. And then what you need to do is just tear off pieces just a little bit bigger than a golf ball and just roll it into a ball.
All right.
So this is all of the kind of the nice flavour in there. So you've got the sweetness of sweet potato, we've got orange in there, we've got olive oil. This is a good one to do.
It's not bad for you either, is it, so far? So far.
Yeah, we've got the deep frying bit to come and the chocolate sauce. That's kind of where it turns into...
I thought it wasn't feeling very Simon Rimmer right now as a servant.
I was quite amazed. I was just saying, I was amazed that you didn't study piano, that you taught yourself, which I find amazing.
Well, I did when I was really young at school. I did some kind of some lessons and stuff. So it definitely, but I didn't really get into it till I was about 12 or 13. Really, I just couldn't find an interest for it then.
And was it your brother that brought you on then? Because you said he's also really into music. He makes his living from music.
He's a great musician. Partly copying him was wanting to be a musician. Just seeing him play was what made me want to do it. Really. How's that? Is that all right?
A little bit big.
You couldn't play golf with that, could you?
No. One more of those, and then we're kind of ready for the next bit. So what you get now are these lovely little balls of dough, OK? Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can either roll out the dough into long sausages and then form them into rings, or this time of year, the potatoes are a little bit soft, so what's quite nice to do is what we're doing. So you make these little balls like that, and then, Jamie, just cut out the middle like that, literally just into the middle to make our little ring.
Okay? And if we don't have something like that, then just invent something, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, completely. I mean, the things... you can make them whatever size you want, but anything you've got that's kind of small that will go in to make a little rings. Right? Yeah. But you could cook them whole like that. They don't have to be kind of done as rings. Obviously, they take longer to cook.
The donuts.
And use like a weird earring to do it.
Yeah.
And then what we do, this is where it gets nice now, deep fry. And the thing is, you've got the yeast in there, so as they start to cook, and these only take a couple of minutes, then they will start to puff up. You can see already, look at these fellas, they start to puff up, the yeast starts to work, it's beautiful. So, they cook for a couple of minutes, then let them cook away.
Right, I've got a couple of emails for you while they're cooking away. Are you playing Glastonbury again next year? That's from Laura Hawes.
I don't know, but if I'm not playing, I'll be going just to be there anyway.
Just for the fun?
Yeah.
Another one, Sophia Miller de Vega. What a great name. Out of all your songs, which one is your favourite to play?
Ooh, that is a hard question. I reckon...
Or does it change daily, like your
It does. It does change daily. You kind of... It's like having, like, 50 lovers, you know? But I guess...
Sophie!
My favourite at the moment is probably one off the new album called If I Ruled the World. That's a really...
If I Ruled the World.
Yeah, it's a really big song to play. It's fun to play, like.
OK,
yeah.
last one then. What did Pharrell Williams think of your cover of Frontin? Frontin, it can't be Frontin. Frontin!
Frontin! You know, he loved it, actually, and we became friends after that.
Really?
He heard it, and I went to hang out with him in Miami for a week, which is one of the most surreal weeks of my entire life. Hanging out with Pharrell in Miami was...
It happens more though, doesn't it? I like that crossover.
Yeah, it seems to be just kind
Last week we had Tinchy Snyder and Catherine Jenkins on, and that, you know, the collaboration of that will be interesting to hear.
That will be interesting, yeah.
I really liked what you did with Gran Torino as well. You ended up hanging out with Clint Eastwood, did you not? Because of that.
I did, yeah. I worked on the music for Gran Torino with Clint.
Yeah, it was a fabulous film.
Yeah.
So good.
Now look how quickly these cook, and this is what happens with them. So they puff up, and then we go into sugar. So it starts off, and you were thinking everything was great, Amanda. Now we've deep fried them, and now we're going to roll them in sugar.
I should have known,
and they smell beautiful. And what you get a really lovely smooth texture. So rather than being like a bready texture, it's a smoother texture than that because the potato keeps it really, really smooth.
Okay.
So all we do,
smells good, gotta say.
we stack up these delicious donuts, and then we've got a little bit of chalky sauce, so everyone can dip into it, into there. And that is the way to go. There we go. Good size.
Fantastic.
No, we've just got an email from somebody that Jamie knows saying, Dave Newton, have you ever trapped your fingers in the piano lid? You reckon it's a guy that you know sent this in as a bit of a joke?
I think because he knows that I have,
right,
on a regular basis. Yeah.
I see.
Bang my head on the mic.
I just look like I've trapped my fingers in a piano.
Don't have the cauliflower ears of a rugby player, though.
Well, they're not
you
too
just
bad.
take them down so often.
Do you want to? Someone want to try this? Have a go. Right. How many injuries have you had? How many operations have you had?
About 9 operations. Yeah.
On what? Back?
Knees mainly. Knees, shoulders, fingers. These look fantastic.
All right, all of today's recipes are available on our website, bbc.co.uk/something for the weekend. Or if you have an internet-enabled phone, text weekend to 81010 and we'll send a link to our mobile site. Text costs 10 to 15p depending on your network. Coming up, Bombay potato cakes for brunch. What do you think? Is it good?
It's amazing.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have one, you just got to keep going.
Yeah, that's
They are a bit more-ish. Can I try a bit of that?
Fantastic.
So much
Yeah.
It's deep fried with sugar. It's going to work, isn't it?